Hello, this is Denis Norden, and I'm here with my daughter Maggie to welcome you to this audiobook version of Clips from a Life by digging out a few extra items from the scrap heap of memories that have piled up during a lifetime spent toiling at the salt mines of comedy. So, Maggie, go.
Hello, I'm Maggie, the proud daughter, and I think I've got to start by asking you whether you had any guiding principles when you were foraging this scrap heap.
Not really. I suppose the only one was a long ago New Yorker cartoon which showed a publisher advising a worried author whose memoirs he's just tossed aside, cut out all the insights and beef up the anecdotes.
Well, I've grown up with all these anecdotes and quite a few books, but I am wondering why you called it Clips from a Life.
Well, we see for as you know, about 18 months, I engaged in a sort of ruminative rummage, jotting down each recollection as it arrived, but making no attempt to impose any kind of order, merely letting them pile up without regard to chronology or variousness. And that whole process reminded me so much of the way that clips used to come in when I was doing the various television shows which earned me my bread and non-fat butter substitute, that I thought it appropriate to acknowledge the fact in the book's title.
Did you have any other ideas for a title?
Well, no, really. I toyed with the story thus far. This is on me. Oh, and some of the bits Frank's book left out.
Was your working method a sort of higgledy-piggledy mishmash, then?
Well, that's exactly what I was left with, some 250-odd random moments that had interested or amused or impressed me, each one complete in itself, but in the aggregate as non-chronological and various as the processes of memory that had delivered them. In fact, I said to Louise, my infinitely patient editor, do you now want me to sort of rearrange them in a straight line across the decades? And she replied, well, actually, no. She said, I'm not averse to a bit of zigzagging backwards and forwards. In fact, if you'll let me have some kind of timeline, I'll try and put the bits and pieces into some minimal chronological order and then chop them into chapters, which she proceeded to do, achieving in the process the very agreeable to me anyway, reversal of life's customary running order by positioning my chapters on childhood at the rear end of the book.
Within this collage, this timeline, I like the recollection about your early days at the super cinemas.
Yeah, well, they cropped up soon after I left school, when I was taken on by the Hyams Brothers, Mr. Sid, Mr. Mick, and Mr. Phil, who owned and operated a chain of luxury cinemas situated in some of the drabbest parts of London. And after giving me a period of training, I was appointed assistant manager at the Trocadero Elephant and Castle, a 3,500-seater which had one of the most elaborate interiors of any of the cinemas on the Hyams Brothers chain, all done out in a marvellous Italianate Renaissance style, all marble pillars and pink mirrors, which extended even unto the ladies' and gents' loos.
How old were you? You must have been very young.
Well, it was early 1940s, so I suppose I was just turned 18. And on the second Sunday after I arrived, the general manager decided to take the day off. So there I was, left in sole charge of this whole vast place. It was a responsibility that I shouldered, I think, fairly adequately, until it came to the stage show. Now, on Sundays at the Trocadero Elephant.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?